Hi, this is Angela Coulter bringing you the September 2015 Metaphysical and Spiritual Energy Update. So, there is a lot to talk about, isn't there? If you are here, you are at least searching, and I know there's a lot out there right now, and there's a lot of chatter, in our heads, in our lives, and in our communities, in the whole spiritual community, in the world. It has sped up. It's almost like we have, remember the old, depending on how old you are, remember the old LPs, and they were like the 78s or whatever, or you could put the 33s on 78. It would make everybody sound like they were on helium. That's sort of how everything is right now. Energetically, we have really, and you know what? It's so funny. In speaking with a lot of friends and peers and other practitioners, it's like words have lost their meaning because we use huge and amazing and expansive and exponential and just a plethora of all these words that we use them so much now that they've sort of lost their meaning, and it's time for us to come up with new ones. And I do have a friend who actually came up with one, and it's funny because we've been sort of starting to use it, and I can't think of it right now. But anyway, to say things are shifting in a huge way is an understatement, and quite honestly, it's challenging to put all of this into words anymore, because as we shift more, and if we embrace going into higher consciousness and existing in higher consciousness regularly, remembering our existence in higher consciousness and managing our existence here from higher consciousness, words become meaningless, because when we are in the higher in consciousness we go, the more we are existing in oneness and wholeness. And words have been created from separation. And so there's a lot to be said about that. I can talk a lot. I could talk for hours about this. It's actually part of a book that I'm writing right now, having to do with our perceptions of the universe. We've gotten so lost in defining words and using words as a definition instead of just an idea and transference telepathically, that we've lost truly what a lot of the original meanings and understandings and remembrances were. And now it's time for them to come back. So part of what's been adjusting is our perception and understanding of the energy of separation and the energy of unity. And we look at the divine consciousness as the unity consciousness of all oneness and wholeness. And we look at everything from within this existence of duality as created from separation and energies of separation. So it's time for us to really start to consider things differently. And this came to me several months ago, and it's, like I said, it's something I'm writing about, something that I'm going to be talking about a lot more in the near future. But there's so much resolution going on, and we have come to this place of extreme, facing any point of self-loathing and unworthiness. And it has manifested very individually for people. It manifests every very individually for different people, depending on where they are in their journey, depending on what it is that their whole theme is, what they are playing out in their lessons. And we are ready to get to a place now of really looking at it from a collective level. Because when we work at it and look at it and focus on it from a collective level, then it trickles down a whole lot more efficiently and more quickly. However, it does sort of cause big tsunamis. And so we're at this point, interestingly enough, I see a lot of people out there predicting some big something at the end of September, which, we've had big somethings going on for several years, at least since 2012, if not even longer. But it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. Again, another word that's sort of lost its meaning. So we are in this midst of, if there are any crumbs of unworthiness left, it comes up in a big way. Our darkest fears. I spoke in July about the shark thing, with all the sharks coming up and what sharks meant, and you can go back and look at the July energetic update on my website at spiritualalchemy.net or my YouTube channel. But it has come up. The darkest parts of us have come up to bite us in the butt. And until we look at it straight on, it is going to be dark and heavy for us. And when we look at it straight on and accept it and love it and say, it is part of my wholeness to have this separation within me. It was part of what we created. When we stepped into this entire existence of separation. So what came to me several months ago, and I'm going to give you a very quick synopsis, and it might leave you scratching your head, but probably not, because if you're here, you're ready to hear it and consider it. So let's put all definitions aside. All of our previous definitions and expectations and all of what we get stuck in trying to force our universe into a box of. Like we have to have balance and everything is, yin or yang or masculine or feminine. And this is important because at some point I got this message of let go of the definitions and just remember. And so I did. I started to do that. And what I saw was when we created this existence in duality and separation, we birthed it from the unity consciousness. And in birthing it from the unity consciousness, we created a partition of separation, as I call it. And from that point, that first partition of separation and the way that we know it, we started to create an entire existence from separation. Creation through separation versus creation through unity and unified consciousness. So in essence, what has become the female was really unity consciousness, and what has become the male has been separation consciousness, which is part of why the imbalances and the friction within this existence. Okay, so you don't have to, and again, there's no better or worse. I'm just saying these are the words we've assigned to them, and it's just simply something to reassess. Because not only do we embody certain energies, feminine or masculine, but we do have what I understand and what I teach through Trinity energy progression is that we have all of it within us. We have unity, we have separation, we have masculine, feminine, and we have creation all within us, creation as the child. So that's where the name Trinity had come from that practice. But what's so important for my understanding is for us to remember that self-loathing, the perception of separation, that whole creation through separation, the existence of creation through separation, created through separation, from separation. Even though it's just a dream, and it's still a part of unity consciousness, it's been encapsulated in a space where it feels like it truly is separate. And so there's so many different facets of this. There's so many different parts of it across the universe. Earth is not the only place of this. It's just how extreme it has gotten, or how extreme we chose to do it. And there is a key that we have, my understanding, that we have set up within our separation consciousness. That's more to talk about later. But and it's time to use that key for us to get to the next level. However, for us to do that, all of these remembrances are very important so that we can come to this acceptance. When the whole existence of separation began, there became this self-loathing and loathing of the unified consciousness at some level, with the perception from the separation consciousness that they were that the unity consciousness owed it, right? So if you place the name masculine and feminine energies in it, and you think about that as masculine from the separation consciousness of, say, assertion, aggression, all of these energies of separation that we consider, the need to have hierarchy, the need to have dominance and power, right? we call them ego-based, they're separation-based, and in many essences they are what we have come to call masculine-based. And the feminine energies represent the unified consciousness. Well, we kept the unified consciousness within separation consciousness, and so yeah, okay, I'm going to start going around in circles, and then it can make your eyes blurry. But what has come to the surface now, I mean, these are deep, deep loathings, deep resentments and unworthiness issues for many reasons within this existence. And there's far more to explain on this, but I'm really doing this really quickly. Because not only, even if we embody, and even if our theme across the existence has been, say, to carry that unity consciousness within separation, there's been many challenges and lessons through that, right? But even if we carry unity consciousness as a theme, Divine Mother, Divine Feminine, then we also have this conflict inside of us because we are created to be separate. We have created ourselves in separation for the lessons, right? So tons of conflict inside of us as well as around us. And so we've manifested what's around us as to what's inside of us. That's within, as above, so below, as within, so without, as without, so within, whatever. So what's come to the surface for us to move forward, it's time for us to resolve all this and accept that all of it is the wholeness, even the most separate energies, the most separate manifestations. And that includes what people call the darkness. It's embracing that, and I said this when I have the shark video in July, but it's embracing that side to us and looking at all the crumbs and saying, all of it, even the most separation-based energy, part of me is part of the wholeness. I am whole. It's a powerful statement. And yet so many are holding themselves back. They get to a certain point in their life and they start tripping up. And right now, tripping up is a big thing. And I'm seeing suicidal people. I am seeing people who are mutilating themselves. I'm seeing people who are, and these are, I mean, this is just like people you see on the street. People who are getting very self-destructive in multiple ways, in relationships, in patterns, in jobs, in finances, and all these things. And having these crises, sickness crises, right? That's all. Sickness comes from separation and resistance. So all the stuff is coming to the surface. Anything we have left, even as we've gone along collectively, even at some level of consciousness, whether you are actively focusing on expanding yourself, you are really, at multiple levels of consciousness, you're actually also doing some major, we are at collective levels doing major shifting work, major resolution. And so any crumbs that are left, the darkest parts are coming up. And I see that being manifest, like I said, in sickness and just really some very negative crises and all this kind of stuff. And it's great in many respects because it's almost like that's the end of the barrel. It's the bottom of the barrel. It's just getting through this with love and acceptance and embracing ourselves. And instead of resistance, looking at it and saying, okay, so what within this is it time for me to complete? Because it's come up again that I still have, right? And when we do that, we embrace it in the wholeness, and we embrace it in this place of, I am divine. I am always divine, no matter how separate I am, no matter how separate I feel, no matter what kind of separation energies are within me, I am still divine, and I am still whole, and I am still unified at a much higher level of consciousness. It does simultaneously exist, and we can accept that, embrace that. And just talking about it opens up my heart, and I can feel the love and the shifting that's happening at the individual as well as the collective levels. So all of that was to tell you to, it's funny because a lot of people are saying, oh, hang on, right? And I'm like, no, actually it's let go, and surrender. And just say, you know what, it's all okay. It is all okay. Because when we stop looking at things in duality and separation, we realize this is all a dream that was created for the purpose of the lessons of separation, and right and wrong created in separation. And I've talked about this so many times, but good and bad, blah blah blah, and who is the worst judges of us but ourselves? So when we can accept ourselves with love and unconditionally, and saying, okay, yeah, that might not have been the most graceful and easy choice in my path, but I still love myself and it's okay. Now, what can serve me in a better, higher, and better way with more grace and ease moving forward? So that's all what's coming up, and I've talked to many spiritual practitioners, many of my students, many of others who are just very advanced also, and other parts of the spiritual realm, where stuff is coming up that they thought was gone. Why is this not? Why is this coming up again? Why is this? I thought it was gone. I did all this work on this. I focused on it, and part of it is if we don't believe that we are worthy and fully divine. Sometimes we don't believe we're worthy to let go of certain things. We feel like we have to hold on to them because of karma, or whatever. Karma or paybacks, agreements, whatever, but we don't have to. All that exists is now. And our transformation happens when we remember that only time and space is all 3 and 4D exclusive. And the universe exists outside, unified consciousness. There is no space and time. It was created for purposes of measurement. So everything happens in a moment, simultaneously. There is no space and time. When we say that, okay, all I can create is this moment, and everything is in this moment, what can I do to make the best of this moment? Instead of saying, oh, I am going to hold on to all of these things that I hold as my identity, aka separation, the pains and the aches and the sicknesses, we can change all of that right now. It's just a matter of how far into remembrance and allowance that we get to, and worthiness. So what my recommendation for you is this month, because I feel like it's going to really ramp up even as the month goes on, and however others see it in terms of there's something at the end of the month or whatever, I just feel like this is a crucial month. These next several months, well, this whole year has been amazing and huge in terms of shifting, but this last several months of the year, I feel like are going to be tremendous in terms of our changing. And it has, and the rate of changing has gotten so fast, so accelerated, so extreme and complete that we don't have time to hold on to crumbs anymore. So just let go. No hanging on, just letting go, surrender and flowing. It's funny as I tell people, the concept that I've gotten is either you ride the tsunami, you drown in the tsunami, or you become the tsunami. And if we all become the tsunami, well, then there's nothing different, and we all just roll with the change, and there's nothing to resist it. And that's going with the flow and surrendering. And then it becomes a positive thing. So make your choice. Do you want to surf the tsunami? Do you want to drown in it? Or do you want to become it and have the most graceful and easy and most powerful transition and transformation as you possibly can? So before we go, I'm going to do the monthly clearing here. What we are going to focus on is worthiness, and simply, I am worthy. I am worthy and divine. And I can be so fully in wholeness as the wholeness, and I can be the wholeness and have the wholeness and do the wholeness and accept it and embrace it and accept that I am whole and worthy and divine to be so. So the intention then would be whatever's to be done so that we fully and permanently exist in and manifest from the vibration of the statements, all with grace, ease, fun, and flow. So let's go and do that. Close your eyes and relax and just receive. Okay. That felt fabulous. So you can do this outside of space and time, obviously. If you've watched the video, it's fine, because, again, no space and time. And if you want to come back and do it again and again, and whenever you're having a challenging time, just skip right to it, and you can do it. In the meantime, thank you for joining. Enjoy the month. Let go. Let go there. If you need help with this, I am more than happy to help you not only navigate through this, but also learn how to do it yourself. Remember how to do it yourself. And I have a lot of classes coming up. I have a self-development and divine consciousness class coming up September 19th, and I have another one on September 20th. So I have a September 19th one here in Holly Springs, North Carolina, and then I have an online one, which you can do from anywhere, on the 20th. And in October, I have a Trinity Energy Progression class, and if you want to know more about that, you can join the online discussion demonstration that's going to go on Tuesday night, September 8th at 8 p.m. And you can go and you can look through my newsletter, or you can go to my site, spiritualalchemy.net, and go to the news and calendar, and you can see all the information and links to registration, and I have a bunch of stuff coming up. So have a fantastic month, and I will see you out there. Love you all. Have a great one.